Right now, somewhere in the world, someone your exact same age just bought a house. Someone else just got promoted. Someone else just got married. Someone else just posted a photo that made your stomach drop for a reason you couldn't explain. And you closed the app and thought one sentence you've probably thought 100 times. I'm behind. Here's what nobody tells you. That feeling is lying to you. Not about how you feel. That part is real. It's lying about why you feel it. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what's happening in your brain when you feel behind, why it's actually a sign of something good, and the one question you should be asking yourself instead of, how far behind am I? Stick around, because the answer at the end of this video might genuinely change how you see your entire timeline. But first, comment below the exact age you first felt like you were falling behind. I read every single one. It never hits you all at once. It leaks in. You wake up, you check your phone, you see the announcement, and a tightness shows up in your chest that you can't fully name. Not jealousy exactly, something quieter, something closer to panic. Psychologists have a term for the root of this. It's the sense that everyone else was handed a map and you're still figuring out which way you're even facing. Here's the mechanism. Somewhere along the way, your brain built an invisible clock. Not a real one, a social one. Made of expectations you never actually agreed to. By this age, you should have that job. By that age, you should own that. Nobody sat you down and asked if you wanted that timeline. It just got installed. And once it's installed, your brain stops noticing where you are and starts only measuring the distance from where you think you should be. So here's the first question I want you to sit with. Whose timeline are you actually running on right now? Yours or one you never chose? Type your answer in the comments. I promise you, reading other people's answers is going to make you feel less alone in about 10 seconds. Here's where it gets interesting and, honestly, a little unfair. Feeling behind doesn't just hurt emotionally. It changes how your brain actually functions. When your mind believes it's failing a deadline, it shifts into low-grade threat mode. Not full panic, just a constant background hum of pressure. And that pressure does 3 specific things. It narrows your attention so you can only see what's missing, never what's working. It shrinks your creativity because creative risk feels dangerous when you're already convinced you're out of time. And it makes every decision feel heavier than it actually is. Because what if trying something new just proves you're too late? This is why so many people who feel behind also feel exhausted, even when their actual life isn't that demanding. They're not tired from their schedule. They're tired from constantly rehearsing an alternate life in their head, the one where they started earlier, chose differently, knew sooner. Your brain doesn't file those thoughts as imagination. It files them as loss. And grief, even imagined grief, is heavy to carry every single day. Quick gut check. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much of your mental energy this week went to comparing your life to someone else's? Drop the number below. I'm genuinely curious what the average turns out to be. There's a second layer to this that almost nobody says out loud, and it's the reason the feeling sticks around. Quiet shame. Not loud, dramatic shame. The kind that whispers. The kind that makes you dodge the question, so what are you up to these days? The kind that makes you downplay your own progress before anyone even asks, because some part of you assumes it won't sound impressive enough. That shame doesn't come from your actual life. It comes from the fact that your identity has quietly attached itself to your speed instead of your direction. And here's the part that should honestly make you feel better, not worse. Humans were never built for this. For most of human history, people compared themselves to a few dozen neighbors in one village. That's it. Today, your brain is comparing your unfinished, behind-the-scenes life to the curated highlight reel of literally thousands of strangers. And it can't tell the difference. It reads that flood of good news as proof that you're falling behind, when really you're just seeing more people than any human brain evolved to process. So let me ask you this, and I want an honest answer in the comments. When someone asks, "What have you been up to?" do you tell them the truth, or the version you think sounds impressive enough? If you're finding this useful so far, hit like right now. It genuinely helps this reach the people who need to hear it today. And if you haven't already, subscribe. Because part 2 of this idea, the part about what actually fixes this feeling, is coming later in the video, and you don't want to miss it. Here's the twist, and this is the part that changed how I personally think about all of this. Feeling behind is rarely a sign of delayed ability. It's usually a sign of delayed alignment. People who move slowly aren't broken. Many of them are doing something much harder. They're trying to build a life that actually fits who they are, instead of grabbing the nearest version of success and running with it. And fit takes time, especially in a world that rewards speed way more than it rewards depth. Think about it this way. People who feel behind are often the ones asking better questions. They hesitate, not because they're incapable, but because they're trying to avoid building a life they'll have to quietly escape from 10 years later. But here's the cruel joke. Reflection doesn't post well. There's no highlight reel for inner clarity. No applause for choosing not to rush. No trophy for outgrowing a dream that was never really yours to begin with. So from the outside, it looks like nothing is happening. From the inside, it's often the most important construction of your entire life. There's also something called emotional backlog. A lot of people spent their early years surviving instead of building, dealing with family stress, instability, self-doubt, environments that didn't exactly hand out momentum. While others were stacking achievements, they were learning how to stay standing. That's not failure. That's biology. Your nervous system prioritizes safety over long-term planning. Always. It has no other setting. So here's a real question for you. What were you actually dealing with during the years you feel like you lost? Say it in the comments. Even one word. You might be surprised how many people reply saying the exact same thing. Now here's the part most people get completely backwards. When you feel behind, you don't just delay big things. You start postponing permission. Permission to relax once you're stable. Permission to feel proud once you've proven something. Permission to rest once you've earned it. But the finish line always moves. It has to, because it was never a real place to begin with. This creates something psychologists call preparation mode. A life spent always almost ready, always one step away from actually living it. And it quietly teaches your brain something dangerous, that your worth is tied to a future outcome instead of the present moment you're actually standing in. This is also why feeling behind so often looks like a lack of motivation from the outside, when the truth is the exact opposite. There's too much pressure attached to every choice. When every decision feels like it has to fix your entire life, nothing feels light enough to actually start. So you delay, not because you don't care, because caring feels like too much weight to lift on a random Tuesday. Here's the honest question I want you to answer for yourself, not even in the comments this time, just in your head. What are you currently waiting to feel ready enough for that you could actually start today imperfectly? Sit with that for a second. We'll come back to it. So what actually helps? Not affirmations. Not pretending you're further along than you are. Not forcing fake optimism onto a real feeling. What helps is one specific shift. Stop asking, "How far behind am I?" and start asking, "What season am I actually in?" Some seasons are for building. Some are for unlearning. Some are for healing. Some are for quiet experimentation nobody sees yet. Trying to harvest during a season built for planting will only ever leave you frustrated. Not because something is wrong with you, but because you're asking the wrong season to do the wrong job. The second shift is separating pace from purpose. You can move slowly and still be completely aligned with where you're headed.
You can move fast and still be totally lost. Purpose was never proven by speed. It's revealed by consistency, over time, in the direction that's actually yours. And here's the sentence I want you to actually remember from this entire video. You are not behind life. You are in conversation with it. Your timeline reflects your circumstances, your healing, your questions, your inner work. It's not a race with a scoreboard everyone else can see. It just feels that way because the loudest people online are the ones furthest from the mirror.
So here's where we land. The delay you're so afraid of. For a lot of people, it becomes the exact thing that gave their life depth. The uncertainty you're sitting in right now often becomes the discernment you'll thank yourself for later. The slow pace that feels like falling behind is frequently the thing that forced you to actually meet your life, instead of just running through it on autopilot. If you're watching this and you feel behind right now, it doesn't mean you missed something. It means you're standing at a threshold, the exact point where unconscious living stops being enough, and something truer is asking to begin. That's not a punishment. That's the beginning of the next chapter. If this actually meant something to you, hit like, subscribe for more like this, and tell me in the comments, one word, what season of your life you think you're actually in right now. I'll be reading through them. See you in the next one.